Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Wokey, and I'm back with another fake Grand Order video. And what are we going to be talking about today? Well, they just put out a news report telling us that Ordeal Call 2 is coming mid-March, and with that comes the pre-release campaign for Ordeal Call 2 and the banner. So for today's video, we're going to be going over that. I hope you like it. If you do, feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me what you're looking forward to the most. I assume for most people, it's actually Ordeal Call 2 coming out and the banners that come with it. But if maybe there's something in the pre-release you like that you want to talk about, feel free to go ahead and talk about it. And let's begin, shall we? So yeah, Ordeal Call 2 is going to be coming mid-March. They didn't actually tell us the date. They just said sometime mid-March. Figure it out. And to be able to play or do the story for Ordeal Call 2, you have to have completed Paper Moon. But you don't have to have completed any of the pseudo singularities or Trom or Hainkyo. They never. It's funny because like all of these came out before Paper Moon, but it's possible to skip it. So if you're a newer player trying to catch up as quickly as you can, it's possible for you to have skipped it. But make sure to do them eventually. And now we'll go over the pre-release campaign itself. The campaign will start on February 17th and will go until March 20th. Now for the actual campaigns inside, we'll see that there is a login bonus. Logging in for all the 7 days will give you a total of 10 golden fruit, 5 HP crystal foe. I always get confused with this one because I call them 3-star foe, but they call them here the hero crystal star foe. All HP, and then 5 for attack foes as well, 150 mana prisms, and 3 million QP. And the login period will be from March 17th to February 3rd. The way it goes down is on the first login day, it's the 3 million QP and 2 golden fruits, and then on the second day, it is going to be 3 HP foes, 2 of them, and that sounds so awkward to say now that I say it. 2 3-star foes for HP and a golden fruit, and then on the third day it is going to be 2 3-star attack foes and a golden fruit, and then 50 mana prisms and a golden fruit on the 4th day. On the 5th day it is going to be 3 3-star HP foes and a golden fruit, and on the 6th day it is going to be 3 3-star attack foes and a golden fruit, and on the final day it is 100 mana prisms and 3 golden fruits. We made it through there, and the login bonuses will be distributed from the regular time that you get your login bonuses. So there you go. Interludes for servants related to Lost Belt 7 and Ordeal Call 1 will be unlocked for a limited time. So for a limited time, interludes for servants related to Lost Belt number 7 and Ordeal Call 1 Paper Moon will be unlockable even if you don't own the servants. The usual requirements for unlocking these interludes will be temporarily replaced with special requirements. Use this chance to clear the eligible servants interludes. This campaign period is from the 17th of February all the way to March 3rd. Make sure to do this if you are missing any of the SSR ones or the 4-star ones for sure. It means that it's basically free Saint Quartz without actually having to have the servant, and whether it's 1 or 2, because sometimes some interludes have a strengthening attached to those, and those usually give 1. I believe there is only 1 of those like these here, and the rest of them give 2 strength Saint Quartz. Make sure to do them in the allotted time, especially if you have the unlock. So for Benienma, for her first interlude, which will give you 2 Saint Quartz, you have to make sure you have cleared Lost Belt 3, and then you'll be able to do this interlude. For Kama Assassin, for interlude 1, you just have to clear Singularity F. For her second interlude, you have to have cleared interlude 1 and Lost Belt number 6. For Prince of Longling, interlude 1, just clear Singularity F. For Caster Naito, it is just clear the 6th Singularity. And for Gilles de Reyes, you should already have him. But if for some reason you do not have Gilles de Reyes Saber, you can clear first Singularity and you'll be able to do it, and that's 2 Saint Quartz. Easy enough. Make sure to do them before you have the time, before time runs out, especially if you don't have those servants or you never plan to get them, especially for the 5 stars. For the 4 stars, especially if they're always in banners, you can find them eventually. 5 stars, different story for obvious reasons. Next, 2 types of missions are going to be added to Master Missions for a limited time. Completing all the missions will get you 200 mana prisms, 2 rare prisms, 70 5-star EXP and a lore, and along with 30 Saint Quartz. And the mission period is from the 17th of February to March 3rd. Now, the rewards claimability period is February 17th till March 17th. So for whatever reason you just left them hanging in there, you have at least until March 17th to get them out of there. And the way that they go are the following: complete one main quest progress node in part 1 or part 2 through Ordeal Call 1. That is 50 mana prisms and a Saint Quartz. And then it's the next missions. This goes up to 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So complete a total of 14 of them, and you'll get a whole bunch of the stuff mentioned here, a whole buttload of Saint Quartz and things like that, along with the mana prisms and EXP. So just make sure to do that. And also, if you've already cleared everything that is the prerequisite, which is a main quest node in part 1 or part 2 through Ordeal Call 1, then these will automatically be completed. And then there will also be missions for starting and clearing Lost Belt 7 and Ordeal Call 1. So clear the opening of Lost Belt 7, you'll get 35 EXP and a Saint Quartz. Clear Lost Belt number 7, you'll get a lore. Clear the prologue of Ordeal Call 1, you'll get a mana prisms. And then if you clear Ordeal Call 1, you will get 10 Saint Quartz. So make sure to do all of them. All of it should add up to the 30 Saint Quartz. If you don't, then you're just missing out on 10 Saint Quartz. I think the hardest thing is probably the hardest thing for me would be actually finishing Ordeal Call 1. I assume for a lot of people it's actually like finishing through Lost Belt 7, because it can be pretty long. I'll say that I think Lost Belt 6 is longer than 7, though there is one specific part of Lost Belt 7 that it feels pretty long, but it's not as bad as I think Lost Belt 6 is. But maybe that's just my opinion on that one. Either way, best of luck to you if you are going through it. Next, AP costs are going to be 0 for main quests in part 1, part 2, and Ordeal Call 1 for a limited time. It literally says what it says on the tin. The campaign period is from February 2nd to March 20th. And then that makes me feel like that's suspiciously when maybe this is when the Ordeal Call. That's not really mid-March though, is it? Is the 20th mid-March when you have 30? They should start sometime in the whatever. Continuing on. The things that get 0 AP are main quest in part 1, Singularity F through Final Singularity, main quest in part 2, chapter 1 through chapter 7, and Ordeal Call 1. Please note that main quest part 2, chapter 5.5, which is Hainkyo, and Trom, which is 6.5, along with the pseudo singularities and main interludes, will not be eligible, as AP costs for main quest through part 2, chapter 7 have been they just won't count. And this is just another count for the one guy who asked me a long time ago, is Trom ever going to be discounted at any time? The answer currently is no. Also, as AP cost for main quest through part 2 chapter 7 have been permanently halved, they will return to half cost at the end of this campaign. So they'll go from 0 and then they'll go back to half. Then they'll also be introducing some leyline stones, which are ways to revive yourself without using your full command seals or using a Saint Quartz to revive yourself. Leyline stones will be added back in there, so if you need these for a revive, I would suggest using them so that you don't have to care when a random ass boss kills you out of nowhere. You can just leyline stone and continue the fight. You're just here to complete the fight. You're not here to prove something to anyone. At login, we'll get 3 leyline stones. All masters get these, obviously. Their period is going to be from February 17th all the way to April 23rd, and then they'll go away. And these you can do on basically almost about anything, just non-events. These can be used in the singularities all the way to part 2, the pseudo singularities, Trom, Hainkyo, Ordeal Call, Paper Moon. You can use them all there. The only thing they don't really count towards is like events and stuff like that. And the usage period for the leyline stones, they mentioned it again, but again, is February 17th all the way to April 24th. And there we go. And then leyline stones will be added to the exchange mana prism in the Da Vinci workshop for a limited time. Their exchange period is similar to how long they're going to be lasting for the above that I mentioned here, which is going to be from February 17th all the way to April 23rd. I don't know why for a brief second I've been saying it so often here that I just kind of blanked on it, but you know what? Forgive me. I've been working all day today, and I play Commander. Anyway, they'll be 10 will be added to the a stock of 10 will be added to the Da Vinci Workshop that you can purchase for 10 mana prisms. Again, if you need them, feel free to use them. Really good. And there you go. And the stone usage is again February 17th all the way to April 24th. And now that's basically it for what the pre-release details entail. Simple enough stuff. And we'll now go over to checking out the banners. So Ordeal Call II pre-release pickup summons that feature the following units. I'll go over the units, at least the 5 stars. Don't worry about that. What I'm going to tell you this right now as a freebie, probably shouldn't summon on this unless you super care about one of these characters. If you're a fan of Durga, if you're a fan of Medusa, you're a fan of Bhima, I say go ahead. And you were already in your mind planning on summoning on this banner, feel free to summon. You're prepared for it, you're ready to go. If you are not prepared for any of these units, I would really heavily suggest you skip. Especially after what they just did to us. I really cannot guarantee they'll ever do this to us again. And the fact that they did it to us once means that you should be very, very stingy with your Sand Quartz. If you are not specifically summoning for a character that you love, or for a character that you have been planning to get for a decent bit of time here. That's just that's a freebie right here, right now. Just to let me tell you right now. Now let's talk about the banners, which are 4 servants, including 2 limited time servants. They'll be here for 3 pickup summons. It is Medusa, Durga, and Bhima, with the 2 limiteds being Medusa and Durga, and Bhima being story summon, which they don't consider limited, but it's just kind of limited. As I tried to explain to someone today, it's like limited with extra steps. To go along with these will be available and pick up in 3 different summons. This is how it's going to kind of go. On the 17th, it's going to be Medusa and Durga, and he'll be featured on the banner, and this banner will go from the 17th to the 24th of February. And then on February 19th, that's when Durga and Durga will show up, and then their banner lasts until the 26th of February. And then on the 21st, it's Bhima and Durga, and this banner will last until the 28th. And they, oh man, they made it all the way to the end. They're gonna end the month together. How fancy and free. And yeah, that's the basic breakdown of it. I'm now gonna switch over to the wiki to go over the 3 5-stars. This is the point of the video where you can stop watching if you're not interested, unless you want to keep hearing me talk, which it might go on for a bit. So let's begin, shall we? First of all, cut in 3, 2, 1. All right, and we're back after a quick cut. So we'll begin with Medusa. I won't be going over Durga, who is also a story lock servant, but if you get him, cool. I like the dude, but I don't think he's anything that you need to go crazy looking for, unless you're a big fan of him, in which case it is nice to feature a unit, to go for a unit that's story locked that you love on a featured banner, because typically you will never get as good a chance as right then and there to actually go for your guy. But if you're not a big fan of him, obviously it's just kind of like a bonus thing that you can potentially get when you fail to get the other servants. Is he the best potential bonus servant that you could get from him? Probably not, but he is the one from Ordeal Call 1, so there you go. Anyway, Medusa Saber, like I said, she's limited. She's a Saber. She has 3 quicks, 1 arts, 1 buster, 4 hits on quick, 2 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, and 5 hits extra. Her first skill is Breaker Gorgon, Self-Break, Dark Temple B, chance to petrify 1 enemy for 1 turn, increase on critical damage of quick cards for 3 turns, grant self buff on attack buff for 3 turns, inflict curse with 500 damage for 5 turns to enemy when attacking with the quick cards. Petrify chance is 100%, and if the quick crit damage increase is 50%, and this is on cooldown of 6. Her second skill is the Demonic Blood Vessels A, charges its own NP gauge, increases party's attack for 3 turns, and then increases critical damage against demonic allies increases critical damage of demonic allies for 3 turns. That would have been really bad if it was the opposite way I just said. 50% to the NP, 20% to attack, 30% to the demonic crit damage, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is the Factor Predation War Goddess EX. It grants self-invincibility for 3 attacks, 3 turns, grants self-debuff immunity for 3 times, 3 turns, increases on critical attack chance resistance for 3 turns, and then at level 10, the critical chance resistance is 30%, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Passive skill are magic resistance. Or passive skills are, yes, that makes sense. Excuse me. Magic resistance A, writing A, divinity D minus, and the guidance of the visionary flames. Her third skill is, no, I don't know why I said that one. You only get that one when you reach bond level 15, and we don't have it currently in the game. Again, I'm tired. Third skill is the anti-berserker attack damage aptitude, which is the increase on attack against berserker enemies. Her noble phantasm is the Kresar, the monstrous golden blade. It's rank A, it's anti-army, it's quick, it hits 9 times. It deals damage to one enemy and deals 150% extra damage against enemies with the man attribute, and then has a 40% chance to petrify them for 1 turn. It then increases the attack of allies with the Earth attribute by 20% for 3 turns. At MP level 1, it's 1,200, and if you get all the way to MP level 5, it's 2,000. Her overcharge effect is an increase to quick performance for 1 turn, activates first. At charge level 1, it's 10%, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it's 30%. And then her bond CE, when you get her to bond level 10, is the monstrous golden blade. When equipped to her, increases party's quick performance by 10%, and then increases the MP damage of allies with the Earth attribute by 50% while she's on the field. And that's Medusa Saber. So how do I feel about her? As someone who has her and I've used her, I think she's rock solid. I don't think she really does anything too crazy from what I can remember from everything I've used her for. It's a little bit tough just because I haven't been really able to use her in very many challenge quest fights, which is, I think, where a lot of single target sabers single target units really kind of shine a lot of the time. And she has a lot of really neat stuff for that, like giving yourself invincibility for 3 attacks 3 turns, giving yourself debuff immunity for 3 times over 3 turns, some increase to critical damage to allies, and party attack as well. That's always like a nice little bonus, along with 50% MP charger is really good. Petrify is really nice because it's like stun, but some dudes aren't affected by it, so you can kind of get through that. And she has a very unique grant self attack on buff, which is being able to inflict curse for 5 turns to enemies when attacking with quick cards, and then also getting your crit damage up for quick is pretty nice, because especially if you're not using Caster Scotty and you're using Summer Scotty instead, you're not getting that buff. But obviously you probably would want to use Caster Scotty with her regardless, because she does have 3 quick cards and stuff like that. And her noble phantasm should work pretty nice with it. So I haven't just used her all that much is the answer. I think she still is pretty good from what I can see here. I don't think she excels in anything to such an extent that I'm like, oh no, this is the most crazy thing I've ever seen. It's more like, I think she does a very serviceable job. She gets the job done, and that's really what I would ask for a single target saber. And when I have more experience on using her in a challenging fight in some kind of way, I'll kind of report back how I feel about that. But that's currently how I feel about Medusa. And especially, this is a big key factor for me, which is the main reason I wanted to have Medusa. I waited years for a 5-star Medusa, and goddamn, I was happy as hell to have one of them, and I definitely love her for that. If you're a big fan of Medusa herself, the character, this is a cool-ass unit. I think they did a well job. I love this first ascension the most, actually. The other side ascensions are really cool in the more like Greek mythology kind of way, but I think she looks coolest in like this kind of outfit right here. So for that reason alone, if you love Medusa, then this is an easy kind of get. But if you're someone who's like a little bit on the fence, then you'll already know the advice I gave you at the beginning. You're probably good to skip unless you are a huge Medusa fan, which if you are, I don't blame you for going for her. That's the reason why I went for her, because she looked cool as hell, and that was good enough reason for me. But again, I'm probably not the best person to try and imitate a lot of the time. Sometimes I feel like the game lets me get away with stuff you really shouldn't, only because it's a bad influence to the people who watch my videos who go, I'm just gonna do what Wokey did, it worked out for him. Don't do that. Please don't do that. But I feel like that's what everyone who ever plays gacha games who covers them says, like, hey, don't do as I say, don't do as I do. It's different from me. I treat this game differently than the way you guys do, just because I have stuff related to it off the side. But anyway, let's move on, shall we? Durga, she's also a limited servant. She's an archer. She has 2 quick, 2 arts, 1 buster, 4 hits on quick, 4 hits on arts, 5 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. Her active skills are the Mahamaya EX, charges zone NP gauge, overcharges party's NP by 1 stage for 1 time, 3 turns. 50% to NP, and the cooldown is 6. Her second skill is the Unapproachable one, A, grants self invincibility for 3 attacks, 3 turns, and then increase your quick performance for 3 turns, your arts performance for 3 turns, and your buster performance for 3 turns. It's 20% to all 3 of them, and this is on a cooldown of 6. Her third skill is the Third Eye EX, increases own NP damage for 3 turns, and then changes all own command cards types to arts for 1 turn. And then ignores invincibility for 1 turn, 30% to NP damage, and this is on a cooldown of 5. Her passive skills are Magic Resistance A, Writing A, Independent Action C, Goddess Essence B, Divinely Bestowed Arms EX, which is an increased own arts performance by 10%, and then also increase your crit damage. Her third skill is an Anti-Berserker attack damage aptitude, and her Noble Phantasm is the, oh lord, please forgive me, Mahisasuri Mardini? The Mahisasura Mardini. Let's go with that, huh? Forgive me if I did not get that 100% right, which I'm positive I did not. Oh, Rage, Desire, and Demon Massacring Goddess. Rank EX, Noble Phantasm type is Massacre. I love reading the Noble Phantasm types. Sometimes I'm like, wait, what? Sure. It's arts, it hits 8 times, it increases own damage against enemies with the Sky attribute by 50% for 1 turn, this activates first, and then deals damage to all enemies, and then reduces their defense by 20% for 3 turns. At NP level 1, it's 450%, and if you get it all the way to NP level 5, it's 750%. And deal extra damage against demonic enemies is the Overcharge effect, which is 150% at charge level 1, and if you get it all the way to the final charge level, it's 200%. With the Bond CE being the Valiant Divine Beast, when equipped on Durga, increases party's damage against enemies of the Sky attribute by 15%, and then increases party's damage against demonic enemies by 15%. And just to be sure I read that correctly the first time, increases party's damage against enemies with the Sky attribute by 15%. Okay, so Sky and demonic enemies, 15% damage extra are dealt to them by the party. And that is Durga. So how is Durga? Well, similar to kind of the Medusa statement that I did beforehand, she is based off of someone from Fate Stay Night, which is very clearly Sakura, and also similar to them. I think they're super cool as hell. They also got done really dirty because obviously in the Japanese release, when they released, no one knew what was going to be coming later on. And because of that, it caused a little bit of a difference. So she is really, really good, especially if you're fighting someone of demonic type. The one thing that I think is kind of a bummer for her is that the reducing their defense by 20% for 3 turns is applied after the first bit of damage. So that means you do not get the benefit of it afterwards, which is a shame. I think that's very unfortunate. I wish they would have been able to do that first. I guess the other thing here is that some of her skills are a little bit simple when you look at them kind of like that. But yeah, the main thing that she really suffered from is that I think she's a really good AoE archer. The only problem is that they released let me see if I can go here just to show my dude here. They released Telemeos, and Telemeos is an insanely good AoE archer and single target archer, and the way his AoE works is that it is arts and then his single target is buster. But that enough makes Telemeos, if you have him, there's really not a lot of reasons to go for Durga, just because if you're both looking at them from the extent of, well, I want to use one as a looper, well, Telemeos is a really good ass looper. I can tell that from using him that he is. Obviously Durga would also work pretty good as a looper. It's just that I think he's better unless you are specifically fighting against demonic enemies or demonic enemy Sky attributed dudes. Then it's a little bit of a different story. And then even then, if you said, okay, well, I can probably still use her in maybe some challenging quest, maybe she does have an invincibility and stuff like that, I would still go to Telemeos, because even though he is not even though he is not arts when he is single target, that still is crazy, and then that's also giving a lot of parties. So that's why I feel a little bit bad for Durga when I mention it, because I really do think Durga's a really good AoE archer. It's just that if you had Telemeos, or if you're super caring for the meta type stuff, I think it probably makes a little bit more sense to go to Telemeos, unless you specifically hate men or buster units, because he's a buster unit of some kind, I guess, and in which case it doesn't mind. In which case, yeah, go ahead, go for Durga. But for the most part, if you're someone who's like looking at it at that kind of way, it's probably fine to skip Durga for now, which is weird for me to still say, because I don't think, again, she's bad. She's really good. It's just that she's not on the same level as him, which is probably an unfair comparison, but here we are anyway. And then if you don't care about any of that, I mean, look at her, dude. I would definitely summon. Every single one of these things is cool as hell. Big ass coat, no coat. This outfit, which I was almost positive that I was gonna get in trouble from YouTube when I put it up there, because there's not that much to the outfit, but they were cool with it, which just goes to show that they're a big fan of blue women with multiple arms. Neat ass unit. So if you're going for them for that reason, I wish you the best of luck for going for them. And if you're someone who's not into it, if you're not playing the game for those reasons, then you already know what I'm telling you. It's probably best to skip and save for another unit down the line. And then finally, we'll go to our last unit, which is Bhima, who is a story lock servant, which is like being limited, but he has extra steps where you can only really summon on him on a banner when he is featured on the main one, like he is being up here. There is also a story banner that you can technically get story lock servants from, but I would heavily suggest never summoning on story banner unless you are getting free multis from it, which is something that JP will get later on, I believe, but us for right now, no. And even then, it was for a limited time. Bhima, he's a lancer. He has 2 quicks, 1 arts, 2 buster, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. His active skills are Voski's Wonder Medicine, A, grants self-gut status for 1 time 3 turns, charges own NP gauge, and then removes own debuffs. And he revives at level 10, he revives with 3000 HP, and the NP charger is 30% on a cooldown of 6. His second skill is Kleb Technique A, increases own buster performance for 3 turns, then increase own critical damage for 3 turns, then gain some crit stars, 30% to buster, 30% to crit damage, and 15 to stars on the cooldown of 6. His third skill is the Hanuman Howling EX. Increases own attack for 3 turns, grants self a buff on attack buff for 3 turns, increases own critical damage by 10% for 3 turns. When attacking with quick cards, this activates first. It then grants self a buff on attack buff for 3 turns, gain 5 crit stars when attacking with buster cards, and the attack up is 30% at level 10. This is on a cooldown of 6. Magic resistance, his passive skills are Magic Resistance C, Divinity B, and Naga's Poisonous Fang A, which gives him poison debuff immunity. His third skill is an anti-berserker attack damage aptitude. Damn, there's a lot of anti-berserker shit going around here. And his noble phantasm is the Maruthi Vayuputra. Maruthi Vayuputra. Forgive me again. The child of the god of winds is here. Rank B, anti-unit, anti-army. Hits 5 times, and then his overcharge is an extra 5 hits. It's buster, and it increases own critical damage by 50% for 3 turns. This activates first, and then removes 1 enemy's buff, activates first, and then deals damage to them. At MP level 1, it's 600%, and if you get them all the way to MP level 5, it's 1000. And then the overcharge effect is a further deals additional damage to them if the overcharge is stage 2 or more. With a note here being, unlike Arash's and Chengong's NP, Bhima's Noble Phantasm at overcharge 2 to 5 will always trigger the extra 5 hits, regardless of the enemy being alive or dead. Overcharge 1 has no overcharge hits. Additionally, there are no overcharge hits at overcharge 1, unlike the aforementioned servants, which means Bhima will not generate an extra 5 hits for effects like Star Generation. At charge level 1, 0 damage added. So it really begins at charge level 2, which is added damage of 200%, and if you get them all the way to the final charge level, it's an extra damage of 500%. And his bond CE is Pandava's Cleaver. When equipped to Bhima, increases own MP damage by 30%, and then gain 20 crit stars for 1 time when entering the field. And that is Bhima. So how is he? Bhima's great. Bhima's really good. If you're looking for a single target lancer, then this is your guy. Unless you specifically hate a lot of the stuff he's going for, then then probably don't get him for him. The only thing that he does not have is he does not have a way to give himself overcharge, which means that if you are getting him at NP level 1, you will never naturally, unless you are like building up NP types with like your thing, you won't be able to get him to 200% charge. It makes it a little bit more awkward. It means that you would have to do you have to bring in a unit, or you have to give a unit something that gives him that, or you have to come in with a CE of some kind that can give him overcharge to kind of take advantage of it. But I think he does some pretty neat damage. It's a very unique mechanic, by the way. This is another reason why I think I remember someone a little while ago, I had a conversation with him when Bhima when I first talked about Bhima, and he was talking about like how he felt about Bhima, how he thinks he could have potentially been just a little bit stronger compared to some of the other single target lancers that were out there. And I think that's probably fair. I don't know, especially as someone who uses a single target lancer, my main one is usually Skahawk, and she can do a pretty decent bit of damage without having to do Bhima's specific gimmick. She just kind of is able to do it very easily as long as the right conditions are met. But Bhima has, I think, a very interesting mechanic in that it has it based off of overcharge, which means that if you really want to take full advantage of it, you either have to get him to more NP levels. Sure, you could do it that way, or you can build a team that can specifically work with his gimmick, and I think that's a lot of fun kind of way of doing it. And he also ends up looking pretty strong to me. I think the only thing that he probably doesn't have is like buffs that can give to the whole party, which is not like a deal breaker. Skahawk doesn't have that either, to be fair. He cares more about giving it to himself, but considering that what his overcharge effect is, that makes 100% sense to me, because he's not really in the giving mood to a whole bunch of people. So yeah, the basic breakdown is that I think he's a really good single target lancer who has a very fun gimmick to me. At least I think it's fun. If you don't think that's fun, then I guess that's a different story for you at the end of the day. So you kind of have to decide on this one for yourself, but I still think he does some pretty solid damage. I think actually all 3 of the units that are mentioned here are pretty good. But like I said, if you're not specifically in the market for Bhima, that constantly looming threat of the post Richard world that we live in makes me want to be a lot more cautious than I've been in the past. It has to be a really specific servant that makes me say, even if you don't have them, maybe throw a little bit their way. This is a case of, if you really like the servant, then I think this is a really good one to get for that specific reason. And if you've been planning for him, then I wish you the best of luck for him. But if you're someone who's like, I don't know, man, I don't have that much St. Quartz, and I'm kind of leading into anniversary, and I'm hearing a lot of weird things coming from a lot of people who think that, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if this unit comes in that people weren't expecting? Now they're dropping units like a year earlier than anyone could expect, and when we're not expecting it, and I can't prepare you for that. But what the best I can do is tell you these specific things, tell you how this unit is. If that sounds interesting for you, then go ahead and summon and do all that. I hope this is making enough sense. I don't know if I'm gonna have to keep saying this now that in a post-Richard world, but I did see a lot of players specifically got like spooked to crazy degrees to the fact that Richard is in the game now, and also wasted every single one of their St. Quartz that they were saving, which is a dangerous combination. And even if we don't take into factors such as that, there is also some cool servants that are upcoming that we do know of. That makes it a little bit hard to summon on one of these unless you are specific in the want for them. But anyway, that's just my opinion. If you have a different opinion, feel free to let me know, especially if you have more experience with them. If you have any experience with Medusa Saber, Bhima, or Durga, feel free to leave down below your specific comments about them. Because I read them all, as you mentioned here, as I talked about someone with Bhima. The thing I mentioned about Durga, about the bummer about Telemaeus eventually coming out later, was another conversation I had with someone in the comments, and Medusa's a lot of my own kind of theories with them. But I even remember back when I was saying with Medusa that I felt that she could do a little bit more damage, but even then I got a little bit of like, hey man, let me tell you what I personally feel. I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Anyway, we reached the end of the video, everyone. Thank you very much for watching, especially if you watched all of it right here. I appreciate it a whole bunch. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to keep supporting the channel. I wish you guys the best of luck if you end up summoning, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which is likely going to be me finally ending the goddamn Valentine's event so I can actually get to actual grinding, because my god, I have so much more stuff to go through. And there's more stuff coming pretty soon too, because White Day is going to be coming pretty soon. The boy event is going to be showing up pretty soon. But that's it for this video, everyone. Thank you very much. See you guys in the next one. Till next time, peace out. Peace out. I don't know why my voice cracked. Bye bye. I know why. It's because I've been talking a whole bunch. I played Commander with my good buddy Zenrot and some other people on the not Mew Mew Force, it's Ghost Fuckers. This makes no sense unless you keep in track of all the people that go on my videos outside of Ago. But anyway, bye. For reals this time. Bye.